and the looks and faces that we have here to show the diversity of this community, the walks of life you all come from. This shows us that you have a will amongst yourselves to continue to go forward to save your community. Again, we're not going to save and we're not going to kill. Only you can save. Only you can kill. A community, I'll be here in front of the cops, a community government structure. So within that, I also want to mention what you said before, ma'am. In Highland Falls and in town of Highland, up the road, there was a situation where people who ran for governor, for mayor, lost, so they started a petition to dissolve.
I worked there too.
Oh, I'm sorry. So in that situation, the paramount issue was police, because the town had a part-time police department, the village had a full-time police department, the village had a detective unit, the town did not do that. The town said, we're going to run the village the same way we run the town. The part-time officers with no detective unit, relying on the county and the state troopers to investigate the crimes we have. They know that they had issues with security with West Point. They knew they had issues with FEMA and flood protection, and they knew they had issues of influx of drugs from New York City into Highland Falls. The residents said, no, it's more important to me to save my police and my public safety than it was to save $1 a day. So that's up to you. Only you can make those decisions. We have to give you that information. So there's one more. I have to keep going so everyone has a chance. Because the village board meeting is already...
Right. Oh. Thank you so much. It's a little confusing. So you're saying that, you know, town of Ramapo, town of Clarkstown, they'll say, we're going to staff you the same way that you're used to, we're not going to raise taxes, put a bow on it, and get the resolution. But they don't have to follow it.
They do not have to follow it.
And then if we vote it down, they can come back with another petition. And we
Not for 4 years.
Not for 4 years.
4 years. They
don't have to be, is there any post-mortem on that? Like, are these villages that do dissolve happy at the end of the day?
Well, there is not a formal study, as far as I know, there's no formal study of post-dissolution. However, there was a report done by Rockefeller Institute up at the University of Albany on dissolution, and there's some case studies there. The first village to dissolve underneath the 2010 law was the village of Seneca Falls, town of Seneca, and they had their own story to tell as police went from village to town-wide. Every village that chooses to dissolve or petition to dissolve starts for a different reason. Some people start a petition because they want to study it. Some want to get rid of duplicative governments. Some don't want to pay fines they got from code enforcers. Others lost elections. However, they started a petition, and whatever they said when they went door to door, the petition that's signed is, shall we put forth a resolution to dissolve? It's not, shall we put forth a resolution to develop a study? It's, shall we put forth a resolution to dissolve? When a petition gets served, you have a vote. If it's valid petition, that's it. So to chastise a board or us or the board or anybody for doing the study because you want to save a village, which is great, sure right. If you got hit with the petition again, you're voting with no information. This gives you the ability to have it.
Right, but if we get information that's disingenuous, they're not telling us the truth, they're not forthcoming, then we're not any better off than we are.
Then vote no. I mean, that's all we can say is if there's a resolution, I mean, there's a referendum, you can vote no. You have the right to say no. This is a democracy.
But they don't make it look good.
Okay, but unfortunately, and I've said this before, there's a flaw in the law, there's so many of them. It was hastily done by people who never ran a government before. The law was passed in 2010, but has not been amended to make any changes so that you have any level of certainty. I can't fight that. I can't fight that. All we can do is provide you the most impartial information we can, and you can make a decision at the voting booth if there is a referendum. Next question.
Hi. I'm not from here, I'm from New York City, but I'm really confused about all of this. The young lady up there asked a question about why this is happening, period. And the gentleman, I'm not sure if his name over there, he said some things, but he never asked her question. So what I would like to know is why they dissolved Spring Valley when They say we're broke, but our school education is worse in Rockland. And I believe it comes from the board who decides the money, how it's spent, I'm not quite sure.
Schools are different.
But we're not getting anything, but the schools are not getting anything.
Schools are not part of this process.
So who's to say that you vote yes, the same people that make the decisions and decide not to give the education system the money that they need, are we gonna get the same stuff that Clarkstown is getting? I'm confused, I don't know.
Maybe you can try it, but I think
And how?
she can't.
No,
What's the problem?
everyone is confused.
What's the problem? What did he say?
I think it's time to end. It has nothing to do with the village.
In New
Stay
York City,
there.
that's not the case. New York City has an independent school district, where the city of New York government also runs the school district. That is not the case.
Okay, and here,
That is not the case in most of New York State, including here.
and here,
All right, so we're going to, with all due respect, we're going to try to keep the meeting going. So I'm going to, I know I've seen your hand up. We're going to try to just do 4 more comments. So forgive me, I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The chief gets a little. Please, you've heard the question, be respectful because we have a village board meeting that needs to go. And this will be the first of many other meetings.
She doesn't feel like it's a question was answered.
it wasn't the answer.
I will address your question.
But y'all just skip right the line like you did on here.
All right, let me address your question.
They had you
So,
come
for-
over here to take the mic from me.
No. The reason I did is because I'm responsible for keeping the regularly scheduled village board meeting, just so that we're in compliance and respect people's time. Respectfully, I don't think I caught the entirety of your question, but I think a lot of it dealt with the school board and the lack of resources within the community. Is that a fair assessment of what you said?
No, but it started with the question that the lady asked there, the gentleman that just walked past. He said a bunch of things, but he did not answer.
Sure, so what was the
And that
question?
was-
Let me see if I can
I
address it.
think she asked the question like, why dissolving? Like, why are we doing this? Why?
Sure,
He
okay,
never answered the
let me
question.
see if I can
He walked
answer it.
around, but he never answered the question, so I want to know myself.
Sure, let me answer the question. Maybe I'll just give a factual timeline very quickly. Okay, so the issue of dissolution is something that's been happening within the Village of Spring Valley for a long time. I think it was mentioned over the summer, folks had gathered a petition. Because the petition didn't get the required number of signatures, the petition ultimately failed. At that, why did the petition fail?
Why are they petitioning to dissolve?
I can't tell you what's in an individual's heart, but any citizen can go around the community, collect the required number of signatures, and they can submit it to the clerk's office. And if they're the correct number of signatures, then within the timeline that was outlined, there must be a vote. Without any information, there must be a vote. So if you had 2,999 other folks that validly signed your petition, whether I wanted it or not, it would have to go to a vote of the entire community. Why 4 trustees of the 5 decide to vote for it, that's their prerogative, but it's been pretty clear to me that those trustees said that they decided, and hopefully I'm getting them correct, they decided to vote because whether they want to or they don't want to, they wanted to give the community information. The board members, that's basically their
Does
answer.
anybody on the board look like me?
I'm on the board, I voted, I abstained.
I want to
Kinda
know,
look
I'm
like-
asking
No,
you
that's a fair question.
because I want to know.
Very fair question. I abstained because I think, and the reason I came here is that if we invest in the village, for the reasons I said without being redundant, that we can get this village operate the way it was 10 years ago. Okay, so hopefully I answered your question. Now, I'm available afterwards, and please put it into the website. So please, roll your spot.
Like I was here.
I know. How many people want to raise, how many people want to ask questions? Hold on, let me just count.
I seen you count, man, I seen you count, and you went over.
I did.
I had my hand raised before you sat down.
He's withdrawing his one.
Look how many people are here, so you can.
No, that's okay. You said you want to know.
No, I never said that.
That's what they said.
All right, let me be very clear. We are changing, I know, we are going through rows, but because we have a regularly scheduled meeting and there's a lot of questions, we've got to move this along. All right, so that's the only reason, so.
I just want to say that, thank the people that came. Keep on coming. We do need numbers. And I want to thank the speakers that spoke, because you told the truth, not a lie. You already got my attention. And my attention is that you're not here to do anything. You're just here to be a litmus test. That's all you're here for. Because everything that you mentioned has nothing to do with what's helping this community. It's only talking about what's breaking. That's what it's talking about. Because you ain't mentioned anything about the youth. You never mentioned anything about the housing. You never mentioned about the poor people on the street. You never mentioned about anything that is significant for this town. You keep mentioning that we're broke, that we don't have money. But we're not the ones building those big buildings in Rockland County. We're not the ones that's building those big stores in Rockland County. We're not the ones that's spending that money in Rockland County. Our parks look like trash. We have potholes everywhere. This is accumulation of our own people moving out. My question to everybody is this. If you feel like that there's too much salt in your food, what do? You can't fix it, you gotta throw it out, right? So if Spring Valley, and I've been here for 58 years, if Spring Valley been so sweet to me to keep me here for 58 years, where did the salt come from? I want to know where the salt came from. Because you're blaming us as a community and significant police officers that work very hard, trust that. I live at 244, and there's a cop there every day, at least 3 times a day, to help the elderly people, to help other people in need. I don't think they need help. I think they need to have people help them to help a solution. Because the community is helping themselves because we're sweet. I think you need to find out who the salt is and get rid of it.
Good evening. In my opinion, and a lot of people's opinions, why this place is being considered to be dissolved is very simple. It's quite obvious when you go outside and look around. The village is kept dirty. It's nasty. It's filthy. You have a stream that runs through Spring Valley, through the park. The park is a dangerous place. The cops have a hell of a lot of work to do.
Not at all.
Just in the park alone. Keeping order, keeping people safe on Main Street and everywhere. The whole place is in dysfunction. Right? And until certain people came here, I don't know how they got here, I don't know how they were elected, because I didn't vote for them. You could come here and preach till you're blue in the face about all the stupidness that's happening here, and nothing is done. If you don't believe me, every single one of you, go up there and ask for all the complaints that were made and stamped, and you could read them. Day after day, it's the same thing. Nothing gets done here. And it's being done on purpose. People are brought here to keep the village dirty, so you could get the hell out of here. Yes. Right? You bring dirty people, and when I say dirty people, they're clean and dirty. I don't care where you come from. And put them right next to you, and then you would have to get up and sell your place and leave. Yes. What the hell are you getting for your tax money? What are you're paying all this taxes, what are you paying it for? It makes absolutely no sense. Right? And a couple of you in here are accused of being criminals. You should be in prison, you shouldn't even damn be here. Because you're the one you screwed the whole village up. And I don't need to call any names, you know yourselves. Right? I remember coming in here and I asked about police cars that need repair. We have the DPW that fell apart. You can't put these men and women in these dilapidated cars, man. What sense does that make? The rest of us don't have an outside company to protect us and show up at every damn incident that there is. So they need money for the protection is like one of the first things you gotta work on. Cleanliness. I came here and I spoke to them over and over till I'm blue. The place is nasty. I have videos, a lot of people in here. I have videos of cab drivers drunk. Kids just running out in the streets. I mean, look at all the accidents. Nothing happened. This is the only place in Rockland County I've ever seen this happen. I walk down the train station, it's filthy. So I'm wondering where the hell the tax money have gone. All these taxes, where have the money gone to? Because there's a difference. I don't know if you people don't listen to this. There's a big difference between community and village.
Yes.
What is the community and what is the village? Big difference. You could go outside right now and you can see it. It's clear as day. I don't have to tell you. The waterway that I spoke of, a lot of the trash is heading right down that stream. I think this thing ends up in Westwood, New Jersey, if I'm not correct.
It goes all the way to Hackensack.
It goes to Hackensack. A lot of water and debris, cups, everything, heading right down that stream into other towns. Are you gonna sit and wait until you get sued? Because that's the other problem. All these lawsuits that the village is involved in. All our tax money is paying off lawyers, and it makes absolutely no sense. This is the only place that does it. And this is the dirtiest, nastiest village, an unsafe village in all of Rockland County.
You need to be
And I'm sorry to say that, but it's the truth.
We have to wrap up.
That's why I said the front.
We have to stop and everyone by the see your workshop.
Let the man do it.
A couple of quick questions. First of all, what's the timeline for this study?
What's the question?
What is the timeline for the study to be released? So we're starting the study now. When are we going to get these reports?
So we'll probably be looking at taking, the remainder of this year to collect data, work on the study, do all the analyses that are necessary that we talked about.
Yeah, I understand the process.
So we'd probably be looking in early 2027 would be.
February, March, first quarter 27. And I guess the other question I have, you guys are also going to look at, let's say, alternatives such as maybe, I don't know, downsizing the village, right? Because certain places may be more in need of village services, others may be less in need of it, right? I mean, if you look at the map of the village, right, and sort of, the village was designed to encompass a lot of public housing, right? If you look at it, the village has all sorts of cutouts in and out. We have a huge island in the middle, right, kind of close to where I live. Is there a possibility of maybe extending those, right? Because it seems to be that residents, and I think we can all agree that people want their services, they want a safe, clean village with obviously an efficient leadership. Is there a possibility maybe that some residents will be served better without a village and others will be served better with a village? Is that going to be considered?
That's not part of a dissolution plan, but should the board want to look at disincorporation or reorganization in different ways, that can be added. But it's not part of a dissolution plan.
Good evening. I heard a lot of things that a lot of people that spoke that I agree with. I just wanted to say that I don't think this is appropriate for the village board members to speak here, because it should be for the public to, if they can have a meeting with Ben, I forgot your last name.
Ben's fine.
Mr. Ben.
Mr. Ben.
That's fine. That works.
They could have a meeting with you, they could speak with you, by, email, whatever, but this should have been just for the residents. Okay, I think I know this answer, it's in the works, but I'm asking the question. Has there been an impact evaluation conducted?
That's the entire process.
So you don't have, right now you're just getting information.
We just started 2 weeks ago.
You don't know what's gonna happen
Not yet.
to the police station, to our police officer. And what I want to hear from is from the town, you know, whoever's gonna take over, we should hear from them. They should be here answering all questions, because I wanna know what's the impact, what is the impact on our police, DPW.
That's a very fair question. And remember, at the beginning of the meeting, I said, we as the Burge Group, and I individually, always have this particular public information meeting at the beginning of the process, so you all know what the process is and what we're gonna be looking at. I preface it with, I don't have any answers yet. We're starting the process. We'll be coming back a few times with answers and sharing that with the public. And there's a difference between public information meetings and public hearings. Public information meetings where I can share with you what we've learned, and public hearing is where you can come and tell me that I'm wrong.
Thank you for the lesson, but what I want to see, what you should have is the impact, okay? I keep saying it.
Right,
Impact,
that's
because I
what
want
we
to
do.
know, the town of Ramapo, Clarkstown should know the answer also. What is the response time for a police officer when you call? Because I know that they're pretty good at, you know, responding. You know, you call, you see them. Is town of Ramapo or Clarkstown going to be able to respond? As fast as our police officers? I can answer that question, no.
And that will be,
I'm sure.
the statistics will be in the plan also.
You know, it's very, it hurts my brain because I keep hearing you say, Ben, that it's up to the town, and then it's up to the residents. I don't know whose it's up to, but we really need to sit on this, look at it, find the solutions, find the answers, and not make people feel like, oh my God, I'm gonna have no police officers, I'm gonna be in trouble, who am I gonna call? When I call 911, who's gonna show up? And how long will it take to show up?
Remember, they have their police and their ambulance to protect them.
Yes, exactly, so they wouldn't be worrying about you.
And I wanna say, we should not have
I know how you go.
any dissolution, we should not. We should think like regular people, find a solution. If we need money, resolve that problem. But don't say, if your house is dirty, you don't say, oh, I'm just gonna break it down, I'm gonna leave it. You're gonna clean it. So clean it up. And we need our resources untouched.
So Mayor, I think we're past the time
Ben, bring it. She's gonna ask one more.
Sure.
Resident.
Okay, I have two questions. I want to know if is it true that the petition was rejected or denied because of fraudulent signatures?
That was part of it.
The petition that was submitted over the summer failed because of lack of valid signatures.
Yes.
Just lack and not fraudulent.
Well, I'm not.
They didn't say fraudulent.
My next question is, talking about the aforementioned study, does that money, is it determined, does the study determine if that money that's coming into the village is going to be used properly, or is it missing, is it going to be missing, or disappropriated, or whatever, you know?
that money being the Citizen Empowerment Tax Credit $1 million,
Yes.
that will go to the town of Ramapo and the town of Clarkstown. Remember, if you dissolve, you are no longer a village governor, so it goes to Ramapo and then it goes to Clarkstown. And it goes to lower the taxes by law.
Listen up. I'll be really brief. One for the employees and one for the public. I see a bunch of retired faces here, police officers, village employees who have worked in this village for years and have retired in good faith. Are there statutes in place protecting them and their benefits no matter what happens here moving forward?
Yes.
That's good.
So I appreciate the clapping. I haven't had any of it today, so it's good. So yes, Chief, all the retiree health plans are still in effect. The towns will be adjudicating. They'll be the ones administering them. The fees, the cost for the retiree health care will stay in until it's no longer needed. In other words, they're no longer with us. Or their plans are taken up by Medicare or however they're going forward. So your benefit package as a retiree is still intact. It'll just be administered by the town. Now, the cost will still be borne by the village residents or the former village residents. So again, that's part of the legacy cost. So when we look at this, we have to figure out what is the cost today, and we carry that forward. And on your budget line, so when we come up with a fiscal analysis, we look at what is your village tax today and town tax, and then we look at what is the new town tax tomorrow going to be. Because the village tax part will be gone, but your legacy will still be there, so all the outstanding liabilities will be there as a cost line. Any special districts, we also added water, sewer, lighting, if there's a snow district, drainage district, whatever districts of town or towns say they're going to have will show up on the chart. The bottom of the chart will be the resultant tax impact for village residents and resultant tax impact on town residents.
Very good, thank you. Lastly, you'll find out, you're just starting to study the village, you'll find out that the village's strength over the years is going to be the diversity, the uniqueness, the complexity of the village of Spring Valley. Has New York ever seen a jurisdiction dissolve with the complexities of Spring Valley?
No.
No. When we've done, I mean, Carl, you can tell me if I'm wrong, we've done 24 of these. This is the largest, most diverse, most intact governmental entity as far as service provision goes. And any governments even chose to dissolve or reorganize. The largest village before was Maston Beach, 15,000 people, 6 years as a village, almost no employees. The largest outside of that service may have been Seneca Falls, they had a police department. But in most cases, when you have a police department, villages choose not to dissolve, plain and simple.
That's my question.
That's our answer.
And especially if the towns don't have or part-time.
If the
Give us
town-
our $93,000
if
back.
the towns don't have, now, South Nyack was a different story, they had no reasons why they chose to dissolve, and Orangetown took over those services. And Orangetown gets their CETC, and it goes through the process. As far as staff transition, some officers went over, some officers went to other locations. Some staff members were offered opportunities, they didn't want to go to the town, and others were provided opportunities to transition over.
Fantastic, I appreciate it, thank you very much. We look forward to giving you the information to show how unique, strong, and diverse Spring Valley is. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.